to talk about the Seahawks win over the Titans. And here's the thing, Bump. I was talking a big game. I said the Seahawks are going to win by 20, and we wanted two things: win with style points and don't turn the ball over. 1 for 2 is kind of where they're at right now. I would not say they won with style points, though credit to JSN for setting a new franchise record. And let me check my watch, week 12. 6 games to play.
You're not wearing a watch.
Okay, you know what?
I'm just saying.
It's a metaphor.
Let's not lie to the people.
I wouldn't.
Let's
I'm
start the
checking
Monday
my
off
watch.
right.
Fine. Okay, I messed up and I lied. Let me start over. A win is a win, even when it isn't a blowout. Your thoughts leaving this one over the Titans?
This is why I didn't want to buy into the blowout.
Well,
I said it was a possibility, but I also said this is the NFL and things are going to happen. And also, if you just take away that punt return, then the score looks a bit different. I think it was the punt return and just the way the game ended with the Titans moving the football on this offense, which left people like, oh, man, we're supposed to blow out the Titans. This is the NFL. Cam Moore played good, too, man. I know his numbers aren't crazy, but he was elusive. He bought some time. He made some plays. DK made some plays. And I also said that these teams are sometimes the most dangerous team because they have absolutely nothing to lose. They're going to go out there and ball. But you got the W. My thoughts leaving this game was that I was happy for JSN. My man keeps making plays. K9 looked like he was getting into a groove. Sam Darnold, a couple throws that I felt like he would want back, but for the most part took care of the ball. The defense did sack Sam 4 times, I believe. Cam 4 times. Didn't create any turnovers on defense, but also didn't turn the football over. Mm-hmm. Solid win. You want the style points. You want like the BCS days where you had to beat teams by 60 in college football, so the computers did its computing thing and made you top 10 or whatnot. But no, this is a good win. You're 8-3, and you took care of business the night where the Eagles fell to the Cowboys, so that helps. You're hoping the Bucs put up a fight against the Rams. Rams look good. Solid win. Still some things to work on. The quote that I loved after the game was Devin Witherspoon. He said, yeah, we didn't play our best game, but I'd rather learn from a win than learn from a loss. And I said, 100%, young man, you were absolutely right. That was deep.
It's like Jalen Hurts. People make fun of Jalen Hurts for saying stuff that sounds like it's like a prophecy. Uh-huh. But this time it actually is like, okay, that's bars.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty solid. I really like that one.
Pretty good.
253, Ward does look like he's the real deal. Real deal, I don't know, but there were a couple throws he made. There was one specifically over the middle, a deeper shot early in the game when I was like, you know what? I don't even know that I'm putting that entirely on the Seahawks defense. I think that was a great throw.
Yeah, sometimes players make plays.
Yeah.
It's like DK with his 90-yard, I believe, punt return or was kick return. Return for a touchdown. Cam Ward looked good at times. The offensive line for the Titans played better than I expected them to play. These still are professional players, man. And the Titans put up a couple good fights against other teams. So, I wanted the blowout. I thought it was possible, but I was also skeptical because you got to respect the opponents.
Yep. This is what Mike Macdonald had to say about the win.
Good win. It's tough coming east. 10 a.m. game for our guys. You got to give the Titans a lot of credit. They played extremely hard. Their quarterback played really well. He's a really hard guy to get on the ground and extended plays and did a great job, especially on some of those 3rd and 4th downs. Our guys were playing really hard there at the end, and I thought we showed a lot of maturity. Working through all the things and how the game went. You would have liked for us to be able to close the game out earlier, but they're fighting hard and they played hard and they returned the kick for a touchdown, and our guys showed a lot of resilience. Just keep playing.
They could have closed the game out earlier. They went up by 20 points twice. 2 times, 23-3, and then they were up 30-10. Mm-hmm. Like at 2 different instances, it was kind of the game that we all expected it to be. They were 13.5-point favorites on the road, which is awesome. And again, I am not surprised at all that they beat the Titans. I don't know that I'm shocked that it was a 1-score game, nor am I entirely disappointed. I think what I looked at was, all right, look, you take away you can't bet all 24 points, which is the most the Titans have scored on the defense. As you said, there was a special teams kickoff return touchdown in there. So take that one off, and then they scored a touchdown in the final seconds, like the final minute of the game. Okay, so maybe this should have been a 20-point win. You're also playing without a few guys on defense. That's where I want to go next, Bump, is just what they were able to do without a few important defensive starters and defensive backups, at one point losing Ty Okada in the game, who was already in for Julian Love.
Yeah, they this is what they've done all year, though, man. This is their identity, their DNA. No matter who's in there, we're going to go out there and ball. And Patrick O'Connell played himself a decent game. I believe he had a sack, a big hit up the middle, did bite on one of Cam Ward's pump fakes to start the game, but it's all good. You live and you learn. You didn't really have too many explosive plays down the field when it comes to the Titans. The defensive line was intact. It's really the second level and the third levels. I thought it was solid. It was solid. It's not a game where you walked away and you're extremely impressed with what you saw. It wasn't like, other than JSN, but it wasn't like the defense just stopped this team from doing absolutely anything. They still threw for 256 yards and a touchdown. The run game wasn't as great, only 64 yards on the ground, 37 of those coming from Cam Ward. But it was just solid. It was what these guys, especially when you're missing guys, when both Tyrese Knight and Ernest Jones are out. You mentioned Ty Okada going out for a bit. Derek Hall got his first sack this year. I heard you talking about that earlier, which is crazy. You thought he would have more by now. It was just solid. It was a good game. And when you're on the road, I think people don't really factor that in as much as they should. Because like Coach said, it's a 10 a.m. start for these guys here. Your body's a bit different. You're tired. You're not in your own bed. I know people don't want to hear these excuses. This is just the reality of playing on the road. And you're playing against a team that has absolutely nothing to lose. There's no pressure on this squad. And sometimes those are the more dangerous teams. So overall, the back ends did their thing. Offense was good enough. And you beat a bad Titans team that played better than what their record says.
I think seeing a guy like Patrick O'Connell have a great day is awesome. Ultimately, I would have liked to see just a little bit more from Sam Darnold in the offense, barring Jackson Smith and Jigba, to help out a defense that was hurt. I'm looking specifically at the red zone and at interceptions that Sam could have had. I'm going to start by saying Sam did not throw an interception. So I don't want to act like he had interceptions and talk about what could have been just because there were a couple turnover-worthy plays. He did not have a turnover. That's important. That's good. There are turnover-worthy plays in a lot of games that don't end up getting picked off. But I think it was kind of it was a day when the offense, it looked like they were really getting going, and you thought, okay, they've settled in great. And then there's one drive in particular where they put up about 20 yards of offense between three different plays, with the longest being, I think, an 11-yard pass to JSN. And then they just kept moving backwards. At one point going from, I think, 2nd and 2, or 1st and 2, or 1st and 3, all the way back to where they're kicking a field goal. So I think the issue I have coming out of this one, weirdness in the red zone, and then way too many penalties, including 4 false starts.
Yeah, 11 penalties.
That's too many.
11. That's not conducive to some good football. And going back to Sam Darnold and his turnover-worthy throws, the one to AJ, initially I saw that, and I'm like, what is he doing? Rolling to his left side, throwing back to his right slightly. What's going on? That ball hit AJ right in the hands and hit himself in the face mask and popped up. And Sam Darnold makes those type of throws more often than not. And will it get him in trouble sometimes? Yeah. But it also allows JSN to go off and allows other receivers to go off. He makes the tight window throws all the time. And when they're completed and there's a big gain, we're just praising him for that, right? But when it's tight like that, I understand why people would be nervous. But when I went back and looked at it, I wasn't really mad at the throw. Was it a tight window throw? Yeah, but it was right on the hands and the face mask of A.J. Barner. There was another one that was deep to where I felt like he didn't step through. He got hit right before he threw and couldn't step through, so the DB probably should have picked that one off. But if I'm Macdonald, if I am Kubiak, I don't want my quarterback to hesitate to try to make those throws because he's shown that he can do it. The majority of his throws are in tight windows, especially when you're going across the field like that. So you have to deal with some of this stuff. But for the most part, he takes care of the football. I know he has 10 interceptions. I give him 6 maybe. But for the most part, he takes care of the football. And it was just a solid day yesterday. 2 interceptions, no turnovers, something that we asked to see. Haven't seen that since Jacksonville.
I want to bring in the feeling of the game. Did anyone think at any point they were going to lose to the Titans? I did not.
No.
I know this is technically a 1-score game. I had someone text in saying, go ahead and admit that you were wrong on Friday. Because my bold take was that they were going to win by 20, which they didn't, obviously. Okay, so I was wrong about a bold take. I had full confidence that they would win, and they did. And that's not unique. Predicting a win itself wasn't bold. They were the single biggest favorite in Week 12, barring the Ravens, who were also a 13.5-point favorite, but they were playing at home. They were the biggest favorite in Week 12. Saying they're going to win isn't bold. At no point did this feel like the Titans were going to take it from them.
Nah.
The Titans hung around. The Titans were a pest. At no point in this game did I think the Seahawks were not going to win.
No.
They didn't. This wasn't one where it's like it came down to the wire. You're having lead changes. Like that's not what was happening. I think that maybe, and again, thank you to this listener for texting in and bringing up this opinion. I appreciate it. I bring it up to say that this is one where the final score is more indicative of like the offense could have been better, and there was a special team score in there that got away from you. That's it. That's what this game is to me. It was otherwise kind of boring. JSN made history, otherwise kind of boring. Forgettable. It was a filler episode, if you will.
What does 30-17 sound like? Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's a return for a touchdown.
That's what that was.
It was return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And here's the one of the things that is concerning with me sometimes, or to me, is that there's a culture sometimes surrounding either the Mariners or the Seahawks to where if they're not damn near perfect, people don't accept the win, right? It's a win. It is a win. Everything on paper says that the Seahawks were a 2-score better team than the Titans, and they were. Like you just mentioned, at no point did you think that they were going to lose this ball game. Now, and also you and I went back and forth, and I was joking around like, hey man, but this is still the NFL. Look at the dang Giants almost beat the Lions yesterday. Like, this is the NFL. So I just encourage people to look, was it a perfect win? Nah, it was not perfect. There was a couple throws I got away from Sam.
Sure.
The defense was depleted. Cam made some plays. These dudes are 8-3. All right. Have they beaten the big dogs yet? No. But they're hanging around. They got a game on Philly yesterday. The Rams look freaking dominant. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Like it's okay to get by. You know, I'm sure some of y'all don't have your best day at work, but you got by.
Yeah.
You clocked in, you clocked out, you made it home.
Look how I opened the show. I said that the Giants lost to the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay for them not to look like Super Bowl champions every week, especially when it's not required against the Titans. It's okay to be concerned, too, and say, well, you can't play like this against the big dogs. Yes. All can be true, people. It's okay. All can be true. But these guys went back east. They're coming back home. They're 8-3. They're 4th in the NFC right now. You're fighting for the division. Things are good. Things are good over here.
Are we trying to find reasons the Seahawks won't win a Super Bowl? Because this is the closest they felt to being able to do that in years.
I think so. I think it's being scared. It's like when,
and I'm including myself.
Yeah, it's like when you're trying to be vulnerable. Like when you're falling in love with somebody. Like, man, I might love this person.
That's romantic.
I might love this person. I'm scared to show them all of me though because I might get hurt. I get that, but in that moment, we still went and had a good dinner. The steak was a little, but the dinner was still good, and we still had a good time.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it, and it's fine to critique. You know, let's be vulnerable with each other. It's okay to critique, though. I get it. I
just dig the story. I dig the story of the Seahawks this season, and it's making me question a lot of things about when I start believing in a team, what keeps me from believing in a team. This doesn't look necessarily entirely like the version. I mean, both good defenses, but this doesn't look like the version exactly of the Seahawks that won a Super Bowl in 2013. And by the way, that was also kind of a statistical anomaly. The point differential they had, I think, was plus 180, which would be by far and away the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, you're not going to see that defense again, and that's perfectly fine. No other team has had that defense since, and you've had a Super Bowl winner every year.
Right.
So it's okay. You can win a Super Bowl without that defense. You're not going to be able to replicate it. It's pretty historic and awesome and really cool that we saw it. But maybe we got so fixated on well, that's the recipe. That's what you have to do. Or also in romanticizing that season and forgetting the very, very close wins that they had. Forgetting very nearly losing to the Buccaneers, right?
Yeah,
Forgetting very nearly losing to the Texans. Forgetting or kind of ignoring a loss to the Colts in week 5 or so. Forgetting an end of season loss to the Cardinals because by then you'd locked up the division. It didn't matter. It's like this perfect season in our memories. And it's like, oh, until the Seahawks feel perfect, I don't want to believe they can win. But that team wasn't perfect. And you can also win without being as good as that team was.
I think with this team, get a playoff win, and maybe some of the people who are scared to be vulnerable and fall in love with this team will finally do so.